Hello, welcome to the ESA Cup. I'm gonna be a hot next. Here joining me today is Piercing, and we have another match from the upper bracket. We have eWAVE versus Maniac Suiciders playing today for the upper bracket. Of course, eWAVE was picked by Maniac Suiciders to be played against in as their first match for this upper bracket. So, we can jump straight into predictions and see what the viewers and us think this match is gonna turn out like.
Yeah,
Yep.
so right now it looks like we have actually I kind of forgot the names already. I'm sorry. But
Maniac Suiciders
looks
and
like
eWAVE.
yeah, so it looks like the votes right now are kind of heavy in favor of E-Ways. Is that what they're
Yeah, yeah, eWAVE.
in fa- heavily in favor of E-Way right now with 62% versus 38%. But we'll have to see how that actually turns out as far as the games go because I'm not a console player, obviously. I'm a PC player from NA, so I'm not too familiar with these teams, but we'll have to see really what they've got stocked for us today. These are new teams for me, of course.
Yep. I mean, I don't have much experience either. I just started guessing this season, so should be cool to see what these teams will bring to the table. But now, let's jump to map bans and see what these teams have banned as maps. And first map, that's not correct. First map is actually Bank. Apologies. Yeah, so it's gonna be Bank, Skyscraper, and then Chalet. Bank was picked by I don't remember who actually. Um, was picked by eWAVE. Yeah. Okay, so Bank was eWave's pick. Skyscraper was picked by Maniac Suiciders and Chalet. Haven't seen a lot of Bank and Skyscraper being played so far this season, so it's gonna be interesting to see what
Yeah, you
these
don't really
maps will
see
be.
those maps too often, especially not skyscrapers. That's for most teams the first thing that's banned immediately. So that's actually a bit surprising. And if I mean I'm more curious which of the teams is gonna have that experience and have strats because the thing about skyscraper and that dynamic is you have to fold something in order to make any progress. If you don't take care of vert and you let the defenders just sprawl above, it's gonna be impossible to take first floor. If you let them sprawl horizontally, you're not really gonna be able to get any on-site presence. You don't have to take full vert control or full horizontal control. That's up to you. But you have to put the pressure on so they fall back just enough to create an opening. Otherwise, you are never going to get in a building. That or on site. That's what makes skyscraper so difficult for a lot of teams is they think they can just do a full horizontal or full vertical, and unfortunately with the way skyscraper is layered, that's simply not possible. So we'll see really quick based off of how the teams attack whether or not they truly know skyscraper or not. But as far as bank goes, that's just more of an unpopular map. I think a lot of teams know how to play it. They just choose not to more than they don't know how to play it. In my opinion, anyway. I mean, it's one of the oldest maps in the entire game, so that's to be expected. That teams at least are familiar. There's no excuse at this point to not know it.
Yeah, definitely is true. But I mean, with all that said, I really just jump straight into this the operator bands actually, and we'll see how these teams will be playing on first Bank. Yeah, those bands out of order a bit there. Should change it for the second map, but yeah, let's jump straight into the operator bans. Gonna be interesting to see what each team will be banning. So first, of course, banning is Maniac Suitors, who's gonna be starting on defense. First attacker ban. Taking quite a while to pick, but they're gonna ban, and they go for Nook. Nook in attack is usually quite a popular ban on most maps. It's actually the most banned attack operator with 46% ban rate over the entire span of this tournament. So not too surprising there. Second ban is Hibana. I mean, for bottom floor on bank, there are a lot of hatches to be opened up by hard breach, so not too bad. And her colleague Echo is then banned by eWAVE. That's kind of interesting. I haven't seen a lot of echo bans so far this season. And last but not least, Solus being the most banned operator ever on our on this tournament, going over half of the matches played had Solus banned. So that's interesting to see.
It just goes to show how oppressive Solus can be against attacker utility. When you have someone who can spot claymores, pop that and go immediately for a run out, get rid of so many drones, which is a huge no-no when it comes to attack. If you lose multiple drones, especially early on in the drone phase, that can be a round changer in of itself because it just allows roamers to lurk and catch off the attackers. So a Solus ban can be typically expected just because of that util oppression that Solus can bring to the board. Though the Echo ban used to be obviously a very highly banned up back during the peak of the utility dump meta, but we are far past that, so it's not as strong anymore. Now more often you see echo cams being used aggressively to spot out attackers for the roamers to help them, you know, get that buffer of intel so they know what to expect and how to take that engagement in just the right way that attackers can't really make progress, or to help concussion them prior to a swing. There's a bit of coordination to it, but beyond that, yeah, Echo really isn't the plant denying king that he used to be, unless you can somehow get it sat in such a way that it doesn't get hit by nades, doesn't get shot out, and you're still alive and in just the right position, which that's basically asking for the stars to line up there, which is not going to often be the case.
Yep, sure as I actually saw Lulu is now on 20 HP only. Got downed I think by the shotgun of Nixon here, was trying to make a rotate, and now Valk is on only 20 HP. And she might actually be the first engagement of today, as also we see Ventex going down into garage. Gonna try to come up main stairs maybe here. Not much happening in terms of kills right now, as Monty is actually solo pushing lobby, which is interesting to see. And oh, actually the first engagement already comes. I was not expecting that, as Lulu catches out Ventex on main stairs. And that's the first kill going the way of Maniac Suiciders.
Yep, that's going to be the first pick. Ayana trying to lurk her way up from main stairs. Not going to really get much progress out of that, as we had Lulu holding there the entire time, knowing that there was one blow from basement from the cam getting destroyed. And with that, that's going to be a set of nades. Unfortunately, down for eWAVE, as now they don't have any sets of nades, which is going to be a problem for below. But with the way that MS is playing at the moment, it would be hard for a nade to have much impact unless you had prior intel anyway. Now the Candela is coming in from Riz. We're going to have Doe getting the jump in. Now actually going for a plant with Ying fully covering Inicon, being able to take another as well, holding for that rotate peak. But because of that pick onto Dex, that plant is not going to go down. Moritz being able to take another, as the eWAVE execute from the second floor did not work out. Those extended angles causing them a lot of problems, as MS now sitting relatively comfortably, but we will see Riz take another, and now SX Curry now pushing up the hallway to take that fight with Fear's Ghost. Will be taking that pick now into conference room, but we still have one still below. But despite that, Moritz will get down, and now it is up to Lulu, who is out of nitros, to come back and retake the site. And this is going to give eWAVE plenty of time to get the plant down, which will go through as Lulu starts to make her way back up to the lobby stairs. But with having to fight Curry, who has that R4C, it's going to be a bit of a difficult fight. You got a powerhouse of a firearm versus a pea shooter MPX, and there's the swing for Curry to take Lulu, and that will be the first round for eWAVE. Despite that failed first plant attempt, they were still able to force their way into sight with the help of Ying there in getting that plant, putting Lulu in a bad spot, as she had already used her nitro prior to.
Yep, and being down at the beginning of the round definitely did not help that clutch attempt by Lulu. That was just really unfortunate by smoke there, trying to make a rotate, doubting your own teammate. Not how a first round should have started for them, but there's still a lot more to go. There's still this map, and of course, it's best of 3, so a little more, 1 or 2 more maps to be played still.
Yeah, it's just the first round. It tends to be a fluke on defense for the first round. That just happens a lot. You know, you're starting to implement those defense setups, those strats, and sometimes you're not really into the motions quite yet, especially if you didn't do a warm-up scrim prior to the matchups, which I see a lot happening due to the people who play in these leagues being a younger group of people. So it can be hard to get times in, you know, when you got college, things like that for a pre-warm-up scrim. And it seems like that might be the case for MS, as eWAVE was able to take an attack round on the second floor, which often is easier said than done because of how difficult it is just to get into the site itself or the surrounding rooms. They're in a little bit of an island with the major hallways connecting that you see a lot of defenders lurking, roaming, or playing around, even with nitros on bottom square at times, which can make things exceedingly difficult to make any sort of setup possible. That's where a lot of gunfighting is vital, such as what we saw when we had, I believe it was Curry, forcing that gunfight onto Maestro and giving that clear entry into meeting room.
Yep, that's true. And now we see actually eWAVE going for a bit more of a different setup here on operator's side, as we don't see the Ying, we don't see those operators that usually we have to rush plant as they attempted before, which was, I mean, they were successful at winning, but clearly eWAVE feeling that probably won't work a second time, and now going for a more traditional push here, going for a bit more terrace, getting square control, all that stuff. Currently just drawing out bottom floor, top floor. Probably to get rid of Lulu, who's actually playing on bottom floor, just lurking around there. Gonna be trying to, again, get a planter off with the C4. It's gonna be really, really powerful here on this side, of course, as everything is just soft. The floor is soft everywhere, so
Yeah,
gonna be,
but that's gonna all really depend though on how eWAVE plays this, because if they get that control with multiple people up like they did before, that post plant setup might not work as well as they hope. And it seems like Lulu is aware of this as she starts to make her way up to blue stairs, now holding for that push from Curry and everyone else, taking that top square control. This could be a perfect opportunity Nitro, especially with Dipsy in that stationary position behind that shield. One good Nitro is all it takes, and that Osa is down, and that's a lot of push power denied off the rip. But still alive, getting spotted, gonna have to rotate out, and it seems that denial for bottom square is now gonna be gone, as she is now over by square kitchen double, looking to take one, but doesn't look like they're watching for her, and she will be able to get one. Rizraz down, but not out. However, there comes Ventix from the archives, being able to eliminate her. However, Mortis now close for that refrag, hunting down Zero, but it seems like he knows, holding that door, but the shots will connect. Ventix will be able to take that, and now with the control, Rizraz taking another. Dipsy now getting that plant down with the glass broken to cover, but Virgos and Nikon will be able to take two at the start of this retake situation, with our first Ghost quickly sprinting in to try to take another. Nikon with the SMG-11 will be able to take Rizraz from top square, and now that diffuser control is heavily contested, as we see Ghost trying to go for that defuse, but Ventix will get a pick, and now someone's gonna have to sprint in to stop him. The wall banging going out, but he's gonna be covered from the shelf and will be able to get that defuse before anyone can collapse on him, and that will be MS's first round for the defuse retake.
that was very well done by the combination of that Maestro and Smoke. Good job on that retake, taking that diffuser, diffusing it, and not much in terms of switching up. In terms of, I mean, controlling the diffuser and who's diffusing it. Yeah, but really well done by Maniac Suiciders to take their first round now with 1-1. Thanks to go downstairs this time. Gonna be playing Mira, gonna be playing Warden. I mean, more of a standard um, operator lineup that they're bringing here today on this.
So the problem with what happened with eWAVE there, they had a good setup into getting that plant down. However, their positions were a bit shaky in that post plant, and that allowed MS to take the aggression onto them when they were trying to hold for those plants, often holding those predictable positions, just to make sure that the plant gets down and nothing goes horribly wrong, because you're kind of stuck in that process. And MS was able to take full advantage of that, taking out two by the time the plant got down, and that really shook up eWAVE and how they were going to position for their post plant, as many of the people holding down the fort were just out of the way in such a rapid pace, and they were able to keep stacking on that pressure, such that eWAVE didn't really have a way to hold down Diffuser, and eventually allowing Maestro to just slowly or to quickly slip in behind a shelf and plant due to that top square pressure, which eventually got alleviated, but it was too late as there was no one with a direct line of sight, making, and especially with the way the wall was open, that reinforced wall covered, so you would have had to swung all the way around from top square stairs onto that breach, or you would have had to push out from the shelf, which were not possible due to the time constraint and the manner in which Maestro ran in, getting himself that defuse.
Yep.
Had he been any slower, that wouldn't have happened. We're going to see Rizraz already take an early pick and a ping, red ping, onto elevators, with Ventix being able to take one from the elevator drop and a double kill as well. And now it's already down to a 2v5 with the lethal entry from Rizraz and Ventix, both playing very well together to cut off the elevator players. And with Monty still on the board, it's going to be a major problem for retaking this one. MS is not going to have that clean of a retake situation, especially with only one Nitro on the board. Though, if that Nitro goes out, that could be huge, but it's hard to say whether that will actually be the case, especially when you got so many attackers backed up behind Monty. That's just going to cause problem after problem after problem. With 1 minute 15 seconds, the clock has been ran down a little bit, but not enough due to how the roamers were eliminated in such rapid fashion. And eWAVE is getting that setup with Curry already down by server's doors, waiting to walk in, but that mirror will help to deny that entry, at least for now. But all it takes is for them to get displaced for Curry to just walk in and cause mayhem. Dex now dropping the elevators, gonna be pushing up, knows that there's really no one there. Venti gonna be able to take Nikon as well, and now it's up to Sanity, who will get picked by Rizraz, as Rizraz and Venti sweep the entire team together. That close team play is exactly what we're talking about when it comes to winning these attack rounds. Doesn't seem like it's a fluke as far as winning that first attack round, as a lot of teams are more comfortable with defense, as they've pretty much swept the floor for that round, not even needing to plant before everyone was eliminated, as MS was forced to kind of back off and hold those more extended angles due to the surmounting pressure that was onto them.
Yeah, very, very effective roam clear coming out by eWAVE to clear out those roamers just lightning fast in just 1 minute and 20 seconds, in control of both first floor and second floor of Bank. And Bank being this massive map that is quite a big ask to do so this fast. Really well done by them. Really good team play coming out from that team. And Maniac Suiciders clearly not expecting this much team play from them, but they might be able to expect it now, and they're going downstairs yet again to try and improve upon what happened last round. A bit of a change up in terms of lineup, as we see a Mozzie and also a Thunderbird instead of a Doc coming out. Still, they want those healing stations to be up, but Doc operating a lot of utility in terms of even his gadget to the team last time around. Yeah, so we'll see how this is going to play out.
And it seems like MS is kind of going for more of an approach of kind of stalling out that initial clearing that did so much damage, and even going for a bit of sustainability as eWAVE collapses down onto site. But here's the problem that I see with MS's composition right now. Who does MS have that will physically deny them from just walking into sight. Anything? No, you don't. And Riz already getting taken out by the same repel that she did from last round. And that's going to be Mortis out so early on. That is not a good thing. You want to start falling back at about minute 30, and we already see one loss. That's not a pick that you want to see at this point for MS. That's going to cause a lot of problems. Dex is going to see the feet, knows that somebody, in this case Ghost, is running around but is out of range to get that scan. They know that MS still has a roam presence that's committed, and with Venti and Rizraz looking to clamp down, it's not going to be working out too well, as Nikon will be able to take Ventis or Ventix, which leaves them and Ghost still up on the first floor to cause a lot of problems here. Rizraz looking to try to help get that first floor control, is going to be able to connect onto Nikon, but she's going to have another problem with Ghost taking out Dipsy, who is now back up to second floor, but we're going to have one in the hall, going to spot Ghost, but who will take this fight? With 1 minute 20 seconds, Mozzie's already done his job. He can fall back freely if he wants to, but Dex will be able to take Ghost as he pushes up from top square with Rizraz close behind over by Archives. Now going to be getting that setup they need, but with 1 minute and 5 seconds, they're going to be a little bit pressed for time here as the roamers on MS did their job, though at the cost of losing 3 players. It's now up to Sanity and Lulu to deny this plant and run down the timer, though they do have 2 nitros available, and Sanity has those heals, so nades wouldn't do much of an effect if eWAVE had any, which they do not. So now it's just a matter of how eWAVE gets this executed. They have the hatches open, but with Lulu holding by main and Sanity nowhere even close to the hatches at the moment, back in red vault, it's going to be difficult to see any picks. They're just going to have to go in and play that post-plant situation and get that plant going. But with everyone above hatches, they're going to have to drop and deal with that funnel. The smoke going out. Dex taking that push. Now initiating the plant. Watching for the rotate. But Sanity will throw that nitro to catch him out. Now with 10 seconds left, he's got to take this fight. Riz will be able to get it. And Curry will take the second as well, as the hatch drop there, able to take those gaps after the nitro throw, getting every gunfight needed to ensure that round for eWAVE.
Yep, well, that's gonna be another round for eWAVE. eWAVE being quite very, very good on that roam clear. Roamers not being able to do anything against them. I mean, there were some refrags coming out. I mean, quite late refrags actually coming out by Maniac Suiciders. Clearly not enough to stop eWAVE from getting control of the map and getting, or at least trying to get the plan down. But plan was unsuccessful, so decided to go for kills, and which worked out for them. But now Maniac Suiciders going for second floor yet again, which they were successful at. Second time of asking, so let's see if they're gonna be successful yet again, or if eWAVE are gonna bring something to the table to contest their defenses here on this site.
Yeah, and kind of the problem with what happened second floor with that defuse was MS kind of had a bank on playing off of their retake, which it looks like they're going to be doing that once again with Nikon on the smoke, and we have a nitro from Lulu, but the problem is eWAVE is going to expect Lulu to be lurking, so they're probably going to go and clear that basement out and maybe even have a lurker, which we do have Curry on Yana, and we did see on the first round that Yana was lurking over by garage side to clear her out, although it was a failed attempt, unfortunately for her. But they know that there's going to be a Valkyrie below for that nitro, though the nitro has not been able to pick anyone up to this point from below. However, that's not to say that that could not happen with those Valkyrie cams and all the bushes and hiding spots in top square. It can be very easy for that to happen, but Lulu will get spotted by Curry, who is by the window and is going to push up to open area, finally get that drone, and we will see that Curry is going to rotate instead of just taking that gunfight. eWAVE a little bit spread out at the moment, as we have Ace on the top square repel, we have Venti over by lobby side, a lot of solo pushing, which could be disastrous for eWAVE. However, keep in mind that MS is very much playing on site for the most part, with only Lulu really being the roamer here. So that's going to give eWAVE a lot of openings to walk in and get those walls open like they did before. Curry going to be able to take that pick onto Lulu, trying to keep that roam and that denial going, but it's not going to go through. And now, with Curry having 2 nades, he's going to be able to start getting that damage in once those drones go through. One coming into meeting, going to be able to spot the Nikon potentially and helps get started with those nadings for another pick. The only person who's not on site, or at least really close to site at the moment, is Ghost, playing in that same elevator position as before. Not getting spotted by drones quite yet, but I don't think that's going to matter, as eWAVE knows how MS likes to play this site. With a minute left, eWAVE is going to have to start getting that set up, which they will, as both sides of the main breach are now fully opened and vaultable. Nikon looking to possibly take one by closet, but eWAVE has not really pushed into these adjacent rooms quite yet. But with the way that they have everything kind of tightened on their repels, I think that's going to be natural that they're going to get in very soon. But with 35 seconds and one still bottom main, it's going to... That lurk could be very dangerous for them. Well,
Yeah.
for MS anyway, as now we see that push up onto top main. Although given Mortis is there to help with Maestro, but Ghost is not going to be ready. Takes one, going to be able to get a double, triple, being able to get rid of that Jaeger. Now it's up to Nikon with the surmounting pressure, but Venti will come from the back and take him out for a flawless round. The execute going out in a grandeur style.
Yep. Really. I was a bit shaky when I saw how much time it took eWAVE to clear out this one Valkyrie that was roaming around near main stairs. It took them like, I think it was 1 minute and 40 seconds to clear out just one roamer, but the execute coming out was very well prepared and very well done by them. Clearly, their pick of Bank, they know it very well, and they know what to expect. They know how to roam clear on this map. They know how to play it, and Maniac Suiciders unable to do anything against it as we come to the last round of this attacker/defender half. After this round, sides are going to change. eWAVE going to go defense. Maniac Suiciders on attack. And things aren't looking great for Maniac Suiciders. They are down 1-4 right now. And Bank being actually a bit more attackers favored. So not really that surprising. But if they can pull out this one last win on defense, that is going to really help them in their attacking half, as they will have just a bit more wiggle room to maybe make some mistakes, but otherwise they will not have a chance. I mean,
and the problem right now with the way that it's set up is, and you're correct, this is an attacker-sided map, but the problem is that with the way that eWAVE is playing and their experience with this map, Bank can easily turn from attacker-sided to very defender-sided, depending on how active and aggressive that you get. And we've seen eWAVE has that ability to stack on that pressure and turn the momentum in their favor at any given moment when they want to and they feel that they have what is needed. So if they do that same thing to MS on the swap and get aggressive on peeking and contesting these outside angles, which is vital to taking these these sites on attack, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And we're going to already see Ghost taken out, Lulu taking heavy damage as they try to put the pressure onto eWAVE with a heavy roam presence above, as we've seen before. But already it's not working out, as that's one Nitro off the board. But with Sanity and Lulu having a Nitro as well, they're going to be in a bit of a better situation in dealing with Dipsy, but not the greatest, as they might lose more roamers, as we've seen before. But Mortis is going to be able to catch Dipsy. Not even going to need a Nitro, but Nikon will get eliminated by Venti from below, and that's going to leave Mortis isolated here on second floor, as he doesn't really have a fallback. Lulu taking Venti, but the refrag coming in. Actually, no, that was both at the same time. They traded each other out. And now with MS on a 2v3 with one still above, who has just been eliminated by Dex, Mortis out. It's now up to Sanity, and we're seeing a back-to-back replay of where MS is put in a bad spot with the roam eliminated. Not even a fallback, not a single roamer being able to fall back. And now Sanity is going to have to fight for her life to even these rounds out. The hatch drop coming in, they know where Sanity is. She's going to have to get active, but is not going to be able to take that pick onto Curry. And that is going to lead to a 1-5 swap for MS.
Yep, that is not looking too great for them. As they go into attack, and eWAVE are now free to go into defense and go ham. They just need 2 more rounds to take this map home, and it might be it for Maniac Suiciders, depending on how well they can get those attacker picks. But yeah, it's really not looking too great for them, at least on this map. I mean, they still have 2 more maps to turn this around. But
absolutely. But the thing I want to point out as well is whenever MS was on their roam, they were very on their own. Like they didn't have holes above. They weren't really playing close to each other. We would often see Nikon over in first floor and then Mortis on second floor, but really not a much play around stairs or areas where they can really cover each other's backs, and that oftentimes created a problem in which one roamer falls, the other is isolated, and because of that isolation, they run down the time as much as they can, but because of eWAVE's ability to get those drops and executes going, that just ultimately means you're down 1 player. That time not really meaning anything from what we can clearly see with the way that eWAVE was able to play this out on attack. So that was kind of their problem, was just not being able to play close enough as they should have and not having those vert holes to help contest. That just gave eWAVE all the space in the world to clear out roamers successfully almost every single round. And honestly, on the rounds they attacked, I don't think there was a round where there was a roamer that was still up and able to successfully fall back. The MS's fallback retention rate, I believe, is almost 0, if I'm not mistaken. They may have had 1 during a round, but for the most part, they get wiped out, and that's not good because that just means you're at a number disadvantage. Now, if you can run the time to 130, great, but it doesn't really matter when the anchors have just nothing to work with. That can create a lot of problems, and I think eWAVE is going to get aggressive here and get active, which we've seen can cause MS to fold, and if that happens again, well, I think we're going to be looking at a game for eWAVE. But if MS is able to shut that down, that'll be huge for them.
yeah, should definitely be huge, as MS are starting to make their way down to the first floor, and I think no roamers are left there. They all went back downstairs, and now Maniac Suiciders are free to roam around. First floor, of course. I mean, flank opportunity, still a possibility, but I mean, they have a Nomad, so it should be covered off here. Now, they just all stack up on this open area. This does get mean hatches open, and I'm gonna start to be playing that. Clearly, eWAVE not wanting to contest too much this roaming game. Maybe they got drowned out, not sure, but not putting up too much of a fight. Still, there's only 1 minute left for Maniac Suiciders. Of course, that's plenty of time to set up and execute, and already Moritz going to elevator, but first pick comes, and Dex finds for a ghost. Now, 4v5 situation, but only 50 seconds left for Maniac Suiciders to get in and plant, as Lulu is taken out as well, as Rizraz gets himself a pick as well, and this Yana not feeling too great in the elevator, being smoked by the smokes of Dipsy here. As Rizraz finds another one as Nikon falls, and now it's a 2v5 situation for Maniac Suiciders, Sanity, and Moritz. It's all up to them to fight this out. 20 seconds left, and still Goyo canisters, smokes popping off, not looking too great. Moritz just stuck in elevator, and it's all up to Sanity. Finds one, but cannot find another one as he gets downed, and now Moritz is just in this elevator. Everyone knows where he is, tries to find one, unable, and that's the round for eWAVE. Another one for them, and they move on to match point.
And the thing I want to point out here when it comes to eWAVE and what they did so fantastically. Now, we did see clearly that they fell back pretty early on with at about the 140, 150 mark, but if you looked at the operators they had, the Goyo and the Smoke, they can afford to do that. Why? Because they have physical stall. This is what I was talking about as something MS was kind of lacking in their composition. They didn't really have anything to really prevent MS from just running in other than a Smoke, which is more often than not used as a tool for a retake rather than an outright entry denial. And with eWave, having that Goyo and Smoke, they abuse that to the fullest extent in preventing MS from even being able to get in. Hence the early fallback, because why would you play for time and lose somebody when you know that with the amount of utility you have and the narrow choke points that MS is going to have to force their way through, they can put them on the spot and even take some people out while they wait for those canisters and those smokes to go out. That was really what put MS on the spot there, and why eWave falling back the way that they did was so well done. All they needed to do was prevent MS from having enough time to wait out that utility, and when they had that confirmation, they fell back, and that's all that really mattered. Now, if eWave, or I'm sorry, if MS was faster in getting that utility dealt with, or maybe even brought something to help break that, such as a Twitch, it would have been a much different story. But they didn't have anything like that, which resulted in eWave getting that round. Falling back early isn't that bad if you know the utility you have and how to play off of it. That's what makes Siege so great. It's not just about the gunfights, it's about the utility.
Yep, it sure is. And this time, not as much utility being brought by eWave, but still, they still have that smoke and they still have a Wamai to contest nades and maybe get rid of some of that utility potential as Bandit is, or at least try to trick this long wall to get rid of those ace charges. Was just get one, cannot get the other. And now they have that long angle open and contesting this all these hallway from this one window as Fur Ghost finds his first pick. That's Dex, the castle of the board, as Fur Ghost is actually repelling on the skylight at an unorthodox angle, but I mean it works if you have lobby control, and clearly working for them. But what's not working is Moritz being taken out now, and now a 40 situation as Fur Ghost finds himself another pick, and what a shot by Nikon to find Scurry? I don't know. 3v2 situation now as Nikon finds himself another one. Now 3v1 situation, now 2v1 as Rizraz tries to deny this push from Maniac Suiciders, but unable to find anyone else. And that's another round for Maniac Suiciders. Maybe they still have the time to turn this around, go into overtime, and maybe take this map away from eWAVE.
MS is not going down with a fight. At least it doesn't seem so as they take that round. And the thing with how they were playing that, with getting that lobby control, eWave tried to aggress, but they just lost too many people from that over aggression. But it can work. It's just you gotta really play off of each other to deny that. And I think a lot of that downfall kind of began when Bandit was not able to trick that wall. But with the additional repel, it makes it extremely difficult to bank off of that. So it creates an additional problem for them. But we will see eWave go first floor, which is actually the first time we've seen that site for this map, as MS did not go first floor at all, at least considering that they were able to reset that timer for second floor and basement every time due to the way that it just played out for them. And now, with eWave going first floor, it's hard to say how this will work out for really anybody due to nobody really knowing what's going to happen here. We don't have really a baseline for how this site is played. If eWave gets that, takes that initiation onto MS, sets the tempo to where MS is not going to be able to get that vert, that could be match point for them. But I do want to point out that MS has a lot of vert going for them here. We have Zofia with the breach charge. We have Mortis on the buck and with the hard breach charge as well. And then Ghost as Sledge with nades and his primary utility. It's gonna make things really tough for for eWAVE if they get that vertical control. Denying that is going to be vital because MS has invested a lot of utility into making that happen. Now Curry over by front, that's almost getting spotted by that barricade break, but still up at the moment. We have one over in ATMs, and that's going to be Ghost, but it seems that Curry is aware of that push, the repel in to that banana connector. Now up with Lulu pushing by Lobby, still up at the moment, going to be trying to take that gunfight onto Curry. Still up at the moment as Curry now falls back to elevator and drops where there is a castle to cover. But we have Ghost, who has already progressed fully into lobby, which can be a problem as he'll be able to open up those lines of sight and create a lot of pressure over by first floor elevator hall. Venti falling back as well, and that doesn't leave anybody above, as now MS has that full vertical control, which can be a major problem with the fact that there's still a nade out and all of the vert that is available to them. But if eWAVE is able to play off extensions well, that can be potential for them to still win it out anyway. 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining. Mortis catching someone on the vert, but not going to be able to get that gunfight and eliminate one, as we are now down to a minute, and there's really nobody from MS who has gotten onto first floor at the moment, as we have Ventix over by main stairs to deny that walk down, and I believe a Goyo over there as well, who's since fallen back to the double where the hatch has been broken off of stock, and we will see Nikon getting taken out by Venti from the main. That lurk now having its impact as Mortis and Lulu now try to make their way from square, but that isn't happening so far. Nade going out, but we are not going to see Venti there as she is long since gone, but Mortis will be able to get Dipsy out. Dex taking heavy damage at Vert, starting to get some impact, but it could be impact too late as we're now down to 20 seconds. Rizraz over by the open area. Rotate, looking to take another as MS tries to get into the building. 15 seconds left, and we'll see Lulu take one, but the push needs to start. But Dex will be able to take two with Curry taking another, and Dex going to be a fish out against Ghost as they collapse onto that bottom square push. And that will be game 1 for eWAVE eSports.
Yep, well done by them, taking this map 7-2 and getting it done. That was a good map. That was a good map for them, but I don't know what to say. That was, why is it not updating? There we go. Okay. Yep, that's Bank taken care of. Then, yeah, I don't know what to say. That was a good try by Maniac Suiciders on their attacks, but they take the control of Cellars and the castle. Just getting that massive double kill was really finally nail in the coffin for them. They didn't really look that good on Bank, but yeah, not much to say there. GG's for eWAVE. But now they're just one map win away from taking this matchup and progressing into further into upper bracket, but they'll need to do that on Skyscraper, which is a pick by Maniac Suiciders, and from what we saw on Bank at least, eWAVE being very comfortable on there, the Maniac Suiciders are very comfortable on Skyscraper. We'll need to see how it's gonna play out there.
It could be that is the case for MS, is that they're comfortable on this map, but what I've also seen when these kind of less picked maps come out is that you have a team that is has more all-around experience and is going to eliminate those more popular maps and try to do that as a way to force the other team in map bans. This is why bans are so important, by the way, to playing those less popular maps. So it could be that the only reason they picked this map was because that was really what was left in the pool, and the maps that they did know were taken out by eWAVE off of their bans. And if that's the case, MS is going to be in trouble for this as well, because it's very clear that eWAVE is not afraid to play these less popular maps and make it work in spectacular fashion. I mean, we just saw eWAVE take their first map 7-2, and that's a pretty big win, at least as far as score differential. So if they can do the same for Skyscraper and they have that and they're just familiar with that map, I don't know. I'd be a little bit worried for MS. I'm not gonna say that, this is gonna be MS's map. It really depends on what the mentality was for the maps that were banned leading up to the selection that we have. Because if MS truly retained onto this, because if they know that their map, then this is gonna be an uphill battle for eWAVE, and they will have to go to Decider. But if it was because eWAVE throttled the bans, getting rid of those more popular maps, then MS could easily get folded. But like I said, it all really comes down to, are you coordinated enough to just cause the horizontal or the vert to collapse such enough that you're able to get in? And if eWAVE understands that principle of Skyscraper, then MS is going to be in a lot of trouble. They're going to struggle to pick up defense rounds or even bring it to the majority. But if MS knows that and they are well aware of the map they're playing and know it and intentionally kept it, then it's not going to be an easy map. But either way, eWAVE looking to be at an advantage here, taking bank in the fashion that they did, because now as audience members, we know that they are comfortable with these less popular maps. It's not just banning the popular maps just to kind of see if to test Waller's MS. They actually know these maps, and that's huge for the T4 T3 scene, because a lot of these teams typically just go for the most popular maps. Those have some pocket strats, and that's about it. But eWAVE isn't about that. They've got a lot more to them than just pocket strats and knowing only the most popular of maps as their crutch. That's not really the case.
Well, those popular maps really were popular so far. I mean, Chalet being played a lot. I don't remember what else. There was Villa that was played a lot as well so far in the group stage. But playoffs, of course, bringing out some surprises from a lot of teams. Maybe saving up some strats for playoffs to get further in. Maybe contest for a win. But without further ado, I think we can go for a little break here, and then go on to map 2, which will be Skyscraper next. So we'll see you then.
Be right back.
Hello and welcome back. Still, upper bracket. Maniac Suiciders versus eWAVE. Going to the second map today. Skyscraper. Gonna be interesting to see what teams will be coming up on this map. I haven't seen a lot of Skyscraper being played so far. In group stage, only 5 times it has been played. So, yeah, gonna be interesting to see what teams are be coming up with. But, I mean, should we just get into it without much much else? Yeah, don't have anything much to add. Yeah. So let's just jump straight into Skyscraper. What do you expect to see on this map? You're saying?
So it really just depends on the team's approaches, but what we can expect at the very minimum is we're gonna see a lot of split pushing, as that is vital to getting those side controls. So you can expect maybe some vert denial, some nades from below to help with dealing with walls, whether it's that samurai office wall, or we might even see nades to help put some pressure into karaoke if someone is anchoring there with like a shotgun. Although Tea Room is going to be a bit tricky, there's a lot of mix-ups. It depends on whether or not either wants to just have people holding by that balk and then move up through like black stairs or main stairs. But the main thing is you're not going to see a full commit either or in either direction. It's going to be a lot of split plays, and that's kind of how you have to deal with this map, just because of how powerful one or the other can be if you don't deal with it in some way, shape, or form. That's just honest. That's just honest to goodness the dynamic of this map and really what makes it interesting. Because a lot of maps are gonna have your horizontal, they're gonna have your vertical component, but in Skyscraper it is so much stronger. It's much more than being options. They're almost necessities. So I think we can expect that from the defense side as well, or at least an extensive setup to kind of capitalize off of losing either horizontal or vertical. But you're going to see a lot of split plays here. That much you can very much guarantee.
Yep, it's gonna be quite a testament to how teams can play together. It's gonna be interesting to see how each team will handle that challenge as the operator bans have come to an end. A bit more a bit more standard coming up from the Nexus. There's combining Nuck and Solus. The two was band operators as we mentioned previously on the last map. Again, no Solus, no Nuck. That's expected. But secondly, there's a Thatcher ban, which you haven't seen a lot in this in the whole stage, in group stage and in playoffs. I mean, it's the fourth most stat operator behind Flores, but still that's we see a lot of him being banned in ranked, but not so much in tournaments. So it's interesting to see that he's banned as well as Valkyrie, actually the second most banned operator in defense. So the two most banned operators being banned out for this map, and yeah, not really much in terms of surprise on this on these bans so far. So
No,
yeah,
no, but here's the thing with the eWAVE as well is that if they have experience with Pulse on defense, that can also be a major problem for MS because depending on their push, that can just funnel so much information to them. I'm actually so curious to see how MS's approach is going to be to taking these sides because I'm willing to bet that if they do a full linear 5 stack, which it looks like we might see right now, as everyone is over by, I believe that's garden side. My callouts are going to be a little bit choppy here. I do apologize for that, but it looks like they're going to be fully committing to that horizontal, which leads me to question how eWAVE will respond, considering they have Ventix with the Nitro, Curry with the Nitro. They don't really have much for additional intel, though, so that could pose a problem. But we have eWAVE already by the main stairs right now, black stairs, looking to try to deny that initial entry. But with so much time that's going to take for them to get that control, that's honestly to be expected with that horizontal. And already a minute's passed, and I don't think we have anyone in the building yet. So that's going to That's already a minute down because you have to get moving. This is a pretty big map in comparison to others with really maybe, theme park or villa solidly overtaking in terms of sheer size. And now we have the first entry in. That's going to be, I believe that's Sanity. I can't really tell who that is. No, I'm sorry. That's going to be Just, who's already now into Samurai, looking to take someone from those head holes. But eWAVE has already pretty much fully fallen off. Now over by Bauk and Drum at the very closest, and that's going to give MS a lot of opening to push up, which they will now all the way up to Shrine, but they're going to have to deal with wall denial as that's fully cated off, and it's really nothing to get rid of it, as I believe T-Room, actually it is soft, but with no one below at the moment, there's not a lot of options in how to deal with it, though Lulu does have EMP charges, but with Dipsy sitting comfortably over by T-Room, he has plenty of opportunity to trick this, which is going to cause MS a lot of trouble. And they're already down to a minute and no setup yet. That's what I'm talking about. And there comes the trick from Dipsy. Going to be able to deny that wall. But the Goyo coming out. And we will see the first pick from Curry with a Nitro taking out Sanity. They do have a line of sight into T, but I don't think they're going to be able to walk in on it, which is going to be a problem. Dex taking a little bit of damage. Oh, it is. They can vault through that. But with 30 seconds left, they don't really have much other options. But despite that, Just will be able to kill one with Dipsy getting the refrag. And now with 25 seconds left, they have to get in. 2 major choke points, but Ghost will be able to take one from below, now pushing up the stairs. Going to try to take that gunfight, but the Goyo is going to push her off as she now moves up to main stairs. Still getting stuck on a funnel. Mortis getting a team kill, but will still be able to take Venti. But despite that, but with 8 seconds left, they still are stuck behind the door, finally getting through, but the shot's not going to be able to come in on either side as the time starts to run down, and they are both scrambled. Mortar's going to be able to barely get a plant in just in time, and it looks like they will, but we'll see one eliminated from Dex. The plant now getting down, stuck over by T-Room, but the swing from the door from Dex with the pistol will be able to deny that plant and get off the post-plant execute in getting that defuse for eWAVE to win the first round. The execute coming in just a little bit too late from MS. Though they were able to force that choke point, it was all too late, unfortunately, especially with that TK and getting rid of Ventix.
Yep, MS deciding to go downstairs a bit last minute into the round with Yana and Sledge trying to get a bit of chaos introduced there, going upstairs. And to be fair, they did get a bit of picks from downstairs, but not enough to get themselves a win as eWAVE take the first site. But now they're going to need to defend another one. They're going to need to go to Exhibition Office, which they pick this time. Alexion to go for Kaid, instead Bandit is chosen by them. And we're going to see how they're going to be playing here. On attack, yeah, as you said, we saw that one-sided push just going fully horizontal. But yeah, they tried to go a bit more vertical, but that's what I was, I think, a bit too late for them. Weren't really that successful in their adventure there.
No, MS was just a little bit too late on the setups that they were trying to do. Now, if Ghost was there a lot earlier, that could have been a much different story, because having that pressure onto stairs can really put eWAVE on the spot over by T-Room and Karaoke. But because she was so late, that Goyo cut her off, forcing her to rotate up to main and push that funnel altogether, which just gave eWAVE all of the opening to deny that plant, as it pretty much gave them all the information they needed to know about where MS was, where they were trying to plant, which is exactly what we saw happen. Sure, we saw, some picks coming out after the choke, but after that plant came down, we saw one eliminated, and it was Mortis, who was stuck by T-Room and got pistol whipped. So that's what I mean when I say you have to kind of split off. You can't really afford to just fully commit going one way. It can work sometimes, but that's only if you have so much momentum and go in such an aggressive and violent manner that the other team just isn't able to really get into position. We're going to see Dex going to be able to take a headshot onto Just, an initial pick already, as she now falls back to Terrace, but the damage is already done. we've lost a set of nades, at least MS does. However, Ghost still has a set of nades remaining, and it looks like MS will still be going for a full horizontal, as there's nobody below at the moment, which could be a problem, as Curry does have a nitro, and the hatch is opened as well. That could prove to be a real problem for MS going forward, but they are still committing to that horizontal, not giving a dang, trying to get rid of Rizraz's shield. The nade will go through, but we have Ventix holding close, gonna be able to take one with Rizraz, who denies the push into Shrine Room, and now it is a 2v5 with that coordinated defense position onto Shrine, and now Sanity trying to get those walls open, but the Mute Jammers is not going to make that possible. And with no sets of nades remaining, it's up to Lulu to help get that open. But with Venti playing over in Shrine, MS is going to have a problem just even being able to get in, as Lulu is going to have to take this fight onto Dex here. But, or I'm sorry, it's going to be Venti, but will not win that fight. Dex going to be able to finish off Sanity for, I believe, a flawless round for eWAVE eSports. I told you, eWAVE knows these maps. They are not afraid to play them. Otherwise, I don't think we would have seen it here, in my opinion. And clearly taking advantage of that with those 2 rounds. I mean, MS is just basically forcing their way through funnel after funnel, and it's really putting them in these bad situations that we have seen thus far. If they want a better chance here, MS has to get a vertical component going, or they need to, at the very least, have somebody going a different direction and horizontal, because it is just not working out for them no matter what they do. They just get picked off before they can even really make even a hint of a setup onto site.
Yep, eWAVE are clearly know this map. They clearly know what to expect, and they clearly know what to do. I mean, even on that defense, they surrendered nearly the entire the entire west side basically of the map was surrendered, barricaded off. No one was playing there. No one was roaming there. No one wanted to even roam there. So by surrendering that side of the map, they just didn't even need to risk any players playing there, roaming, trying to get those picks. Because why did they need to? They just had these 2 doorways to contest, and that was basically it. And MS not able to do anything against that defense. But maybe first floor will be redeeming quality for MS. Maybe they'll be able to win this one. I mean, first floor, a bit more of a tricky side to defend, but still, eWAVE clearly know what they're doing, and clearly gonna be putting up a fight against Maniac Suiciders. Yep, as we see them just joining in, starting to get some idea of what map control they have, what can they get, and already getting themselves inside. Just taking a lot of control already onto the map. Just being, I guess, the entry fragger for them, and not finding a lot of success. I mean, at least last round. But maybe they'll be able to do it this time as C4 comes out, pops the Goyo canister on the drums.
Yeah, I wonder if that was maybe misplaced, but regardless, it doesn't do any damage. Sandy now looking to try to contest and drum, get that control from above, but we do have some people from eWAVE over by first floor, which is going to cause a problem. They're not going to be able to just walk right in, and with 3 people holding above, 1 by the back stairs and 2 over by karaoke and the I forget what the name of that room is. There's 1 over by, but with 2 people over there, the by backstairs falling off now, and with a minute 25 seconds, MS still does not have their vertical control. But here's the kicker though. Mortis is on that horizontal, which is going to be vital to helping to push out eWAVE. This could definitely be their first round if they get that vertical soon enough, or at least get eWAVE off of it. But it looks like they're starting to do that as Just gets Curry out. However, that vertical is still up and still sitting comfy to deny any kind of entry. But if they can just push that pressure a little bit more, then that will be MS's opportunity. Their opening to get a plant in. Clamor coming in from Sanity to help with the flank, but I don't think we're going to see it too much. The drop coming in as Mortis pops it, but the wall, but a pick will not go through. However, Ghost will be able to get
Oh my
Dex,
god.
but we will see Ghost be able to get Rizraz as well, and he's now onto site. But with 30 seconds left, both on the Vert and the Vert getting pressured, Lulu being able to take Dipsy, it's now all up to Venti in a 5v1. That collapse finally coming through that I was talking about, and now it's all up to him, and Just will be able to shut him down from that hatch above. This is what I mean. You push that Vert off just enough that the horizontal can come in and get that control, and that's it. That's how you attack these sites.
Yeah.
MS did exactly what needed to be done and played it very well. Now, if they can do that for second floor, which has been a different story up to this point, then we can very much see us going into Decider. But right now, MS has just got to do that for second floor as well as first floor. Because here's the thing, though, right? It's kind of standard to play it like that in first floor. Not just on Skyscraper, but every other map. But second floor can often be a different story. So if MS does the same thing here, then on the second floor, then that's it. That's their golden ticket. That's gonna allow them to ramp up rounds. But we have not seen that happen. And with eWAVE often committing on either heavy horizontal or heavy verts, that could be another opportunity for MS to take advantage of. But it just really comes down to how close they can play and how they kind of teeter-tot their way into sight.
Yeah, in that last round, eWAVE unable to put up any fight. Flawless round by eWAVE, countered by flawless round by Maniac Suiciders on their first floor attack. Hopefully, for them, they can replicate that success on this side as well. Maybe they figured out the formula. Maybe, as you said, they figured out their golden ticket to rack up rounds and to just push from that vertical and that horizontal in the same time. We'll just need to wait and see. But eWAVE still committing to a bit. I mean, exactly the same setup, I think. Not changing much. I mean, worked once. Might as well work again. And again, the same mistake coming out. The ace charge being tricked by Kaid and the mute at the same time. Another one being dropped. And now could be tricked by Kaid yet again. No, it's going to be open up once, but not twice. They get that line of sight, but they do not get the vault in. Kaid Claw stays there, so that they cannot get that wall more. But they'll be able to go through office still, as that was not reinforced. And no one to contest that. Just now on Yana, maybe trying to get into office, but those angles are going to be tricky to deal with, as yeah, we see Ghost going for downstairs, going pressuring from downstairs, but will it be enough? Will one person from MS be enough to displace eWAVE just enough for the rest of the team to collapse into sight? We'll just need to wait and see.
Yeah, and the thing I want to kind of point out as well is actually Dipsy did in fact re-pick up that Cade call and is going to be using that to deny the walk in the Nitro from out of nowhere from Drum, almost picking one. However, Lulu instead will turn that around and pick Curry off, who tries to commit further off of that Nitro, but is going to backfire. And that will be the first pick for the round, but with 1 minute, 10 seconds left, they're going to need to get that control, which might be a problem as they're still heavily extended at the moment. It's hard to say how they'll do that, and especially with Dipsy still having a claw available, one already put onto the wall. Walking in is going to be hard as they have to deal with that infamous choke point once again, but Dipsy's going to get killed by the Goyo as we will see Just throw a nade below, and that is going to be a major loss for eWAVE, as now they're going to 5v3, which is very doable in breaking those pinches, but Ventic will be able to pick up Lulu, and that is going to be just a little bit more pressure. And keep in mind that Rizrat still has 3 smoke canisters, and we have Goyos as well now getting popped with 25 seconds left. This is going to make any kind of entry downright impossible. However, despite that, Ghost will be able to take another, but with 15 seconds left, they're gonna have to force their way in at some point. The motions have got to start. Sanity already in, now initiating that plant. The pressure's now onto eWAVE to make the move, but Ventic will get caught off by Jux over on main, and Just will be able to take Dex out as well from that same main as they both try to force their way into T room to deny that defuse, which isn't going to happen.
Yep, does appear to be Maniac Suiciders figure out the formula, get this round quite well. I mean, losing just a couple of people, that was very well done by them, but their weakest attack was on Exhibition, where they surrendered a flawless victory to eWAVE. And now eWAVE are going to Exhibition office. Will MS be able to turn things around, get a win on this side as well? But does appear to be that MS looking a lot stronger now on this map. Just needs to kind of adjust to the playstyle of eWAVE. And now they know what to do. Now they know what to expect. They should be able to cruise through this. But, I mean, anything can happen. eWAVE can still pull this off. And even if they lose, it's still Maniac Suiciders map pick. So, yeah, I just need to wait and see what they'll come up with.
Yeah, eWAVE is definitely going to have to change up the defense compositions, because the way that they're playing right now, it doesn't really take advantage fully of both of the ways in which they can deny the plant, always opting to just go for one way, which just gives MS a free opening to create a buffer every time. And we saw that with Just, who was holding by main after getting that nade off and pretty much cutting off all of MS from just that angle alone, while Sanity just walked in, hopped into the breach, and got that plant down. And there really wasn't anything that eWAVE could do other than force that one gunfight, which they just were not able to do. And forcing your gunfight is not a valid strategy by any means. It is if you got a major mechanics difference, but from what we've seen thus far, both teams are very capable of fragging out, so that is not an assumption that you can make is just, oh, force that gunfight and let's move. You can't really do that, unfortunately. And now it seems so far that eWAVE is still committing to that full horizontal with not much going on below as far as nitros go, which could be a problem if MS just gets below and then moves up. But we do have Dipsy all the way further extended, which could help with Curry being able to take one. Just gonna get Dipsy out from I believe that was over by that kitchen side.
Yep.
Now IQ making her way up main, just looking for Curry, who is over by house lobby, still holding on to below with a nitro available, which could really help eWAVE here in dealing with MS's execute. But with two people below, they are dedicated to pushing off that vert so they can just focus on that horizontal, or at least getting an opening to nading, as Just is heavily hit but not down, still alive. But if they lose Just, that's going to be vert power that they can use against eWAVE taken off, but still up. And it looks like Curry may have fallen off, so that is going to be just what, actually no, just, or he's still holding by the main stairs, but it doesn't matter. The nade coming in to put in that hurt onto eWAVE. But with a minute left, they are sitting a little bit comfortably here, but Just will be able to finally get Curry out, and they now have that full below control. However, Just is going to go up main instead of the house stairs, with Dex being able to take Mortis. That flank could be a major problem. Dex going to be able to take another onto Sanity with the headshot from the tight angle, getting aggressive. Rizraz looks to take another from Lulu, who is now rotating through the drum balcony. And with 30 seconds left, these aggressive gunfights have really put the pressure on MS as Lulu rendezvous with Just, but with 22 seconds left, they are gonna have to get in somehow, but it doesn't seem they're successful so far as Dex takes Justin. Ventix gets Lulu as he is reloading, and it looks like eWAVE is back on track to picking up some rounds after MS gets 2 in a row. I believe it was 2 in a row, right?
Yeah, it was 2 in a row that they did take. And now going back to karaoke, and eWAVE just looks a bit unstoppable by at least by Maniac Suiciders on their defense of Exhibition Room and Office. Just Maniac Suiciders, of course, was a better better try than it was last time. Not a flawless round, but still a victory for eWAVE. eWAVE looking quite strong that side, as I said. But still, one more round remaining in this half until Maniac Suiciders and eWAVE change sides. And then it's going to be eWave's turn to go in and try to attack Maniac Suiciders. Maybe Maniac Suiciders do have something up their sleeve for this map that they are going to just destroy eWAVE with. We'll just need to see how it's going to go. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Still one more round. Still one more attacking round for Maniac Suiciders to attack. I mean, they were successful on attacking this side last time, but maybe eWAVE will learn from their mistakes. Maybe eWAVE will get a bit more from their defenses here.
And in my opinion, yeah, absolutely. This is going to be what I consider kind of a pivotal round as MS goes into defense. They are more experienced. We have not seen them play defense, but they definitely know this map better than they did Bank, with it being as close as it is right now. But if eWAVE is able to take this round, that's going to be that's only gonna be 3 rounds for them to win. It looks like they're gonna be off to a good start, as Rizraz will be able to take one off of, I believe that's a spawn peak. I'm not even sure where that was from. No, neither do I. But that is Ghost out so early on, and a set of nades out of the way. That's just gonna be a little bit less vertical pressure that they're gonna deal with. If they can get rid of just as well, then that's it. Their MS is gonna be in a lot of trouble here, especially because the only other person who's going to be a help to get the wall open is going to be Lulu with those EMPs. But it's hard to say if that's going to be enough. Just going to be getting spotted as Curry now rotates up through restaurant stairs. Still alive and falling back. That's what you want. You don't want to lose your roamers at this point. But just will get caught, unfortunately, by Curry. And that's going to be one less person for MS to deal with. And as Just now has that vertical control, they can begin nading quite promptly. Rizraz gonna go popping that Goyo, try to hold them off. Using that utility with this much time is gonna definitely be a problem for eWAVE, as they're not gonna as much denial. Though they do have Rizraz with those 3 smoke canisters, but with the fact that MS is walking upstairs as well as their horizontal, it's gonna be a problem for them regardless. That canister is not gonna be enough for an outright denial. Tries to walk up, but Rizraz will get caught, but is not down yet as Dipsy tries to cover. But here comes Just slowly creeping up to secure that for a double kill. Now with eWAVE at 4-2, and with MS now digging in, with Osa putting that shield down, is just creating more and more pressure. But Venti was able to catch one from below, looking to possibly take another, but Just is there to grab the diffuser, and it's now up to Venti to make something happen here. He does have a nitro though, which can help a lot as he creeps back up 2 main stairs, but Just is going to be in prime position to get this plant down, which she will, but she's close to a soft wall. However, taking shots, not sure where it's coming from. Venti's going to rotate out, and Just will be getting this plant down. We are now in the post-plant situation. The nitro going in, not going to catch anybody. Going to have to take 3 straight gunfights with Mortis on that shield and Lulu on the rappel. It's going to be a tough retake here with the way that everyone is positioned in such power spots. Venti trying to take this first fight onto Osa, but Mortis will be able to catch Ventix despite that attempt, and we will now be on an even split on the swap. Looks like MS is not ready to give up this matchup just yet.
Yep, and historically, Skyscraper so far, at least in the group stage, has been defender-sided. So going 3-3 for eWAVE, that is not a perfect way to start out their half. But, I mean, not all is lost. They can still pull this win out for them. But MS are going to be looking to get a bit more rounds in to get that win, to get that map, and to move on to a third decider. That would be quite good to see. It's going to be Chalet if we move on to there. But still, there's a lot more rounds to be played on this map as well, as we see a clash from Lulu, which we have not seen a lot to be being played so far. I mean, it has been a bit of a troll pick, but definitely not trolling. MS going 3-3 with eWAVE. Quite a close game we're having. So, not sure what is gonna be the plan here with Lulu on the Clash. It's gonna be cool to see what they'll come up with.
I've seen this before with playing Clash on this site. I don't see it very often, but the main premise is to kind of weave between Shrine Room and Terrace to prevent them from pushing up after the shields inevitably get destroyed. And it can work out really well if you play off your roamers correctly and you have your vert properly dealt with. Otherwise, you can get shot in the back by house stairs as they begin to creep up, which can cut Clash off. So being able to hold on to Terrace and Shrine is going to be essential for Lulu to get that big impact. Otherwise, it could be, it just could fall apart. Although right now Lulu's playing a little bit aggressively, going for those runouts to help get an early pick over by Lounge, a spot who is out there, but eWAVE is not giving up that free information. At least wasn't, as we'll see one peek out onto Lulu, who's still holding that terrace for that information. Pulls the shield back out. They know that Frost is over by that rotate as well. They're just waiting for a peek. eWAVE has an option here. They can either rotate and go somewhere else because of that clash, or they can try to deal with it on top of having that breach open. It's really just a matter of choice, but either way, Lulu, with the way she's positioned over by Office, is going to cause eWAVE a lot of problems here, as MS still is trying to just get some kind of footing with Venti and Curry below at the moment, which if that vert goes through, that could put Lulu really on a spot there. We're going to see a barricade from Mortis over by West Side. Not really sure what the game plan is there. The first nade coming out from Venti, not going to connect to anybody. But if they can get some intel on where MS is playing, that could be a free pick for them. But it doesn't seem like they have the intel, just going for a wild card throw. And we have Lulu pushed all the way out, Dipsy down, but not out. And Dex will be able to get just from that breach, despite Lulu there to try to put on that pressure, as that line of sight was opened by that terrorist play. Rizraz holding by the breach. He's done his job, looking to possibly take one, who's holding close to that rotate, and that's going to be Lulu with her SMG out. It's going to be able to spot the thermite, but is going to be still up and alive. Not playing for life here as one pushes that rotate terrace. And we will see Ventix take Mortiz as the pressure mounts on. They've got that horizontal. They have that vertical. MS is not looking too great at the moment, but with Lulu still on the board, that could be a potential for a lot of trouble. Sanity gonna be able to take out Dipsy and Dex, denying that initial entry. Ghost gonna be able to get Curry out as well. And now with a 3v2, they still have to deal with Lulu, but Ghost will be able to catch Venti for a clean headshot with 10 seconds left. Rizraz doesn't really have a lot of options but to walk in. Almost catches a headshot, but not quite, as he ducks just in time. Ghost coming for the swing from the door for yet another headshot as MS picks up that round as well. Now taking the round lead for, I believe, the first time in this particular game.
Yep, that is impressive by them. eWAVE just not able to execute as well onto the site. They had the advantage. I mean the numbers advantage, but just unable to do so and collapse onto site really well. But yeah, so it was quite unfortunate by them.
Yeah, they really just lost a lot of those gunfights there. Yeah. And I mean, it happens. It happens. But they also didn't really have a way to walk in with Lulu being there to break those lines of sights every time they came up. And honestly, if they had more of a presence over by Shrine, because everyone was focused on MS was focused by Office side, they could get someone by Shrine over. That could have really changed, but MS or eWAVE was just not able to get that pinch that they needed, and MS was able to force those gunfights through despite the pressure that eWAVE was attempting to make, but just couldn't set up. And now we move on to Tea Room and Karaoke, as MS looks to pick up yet another round from above, but we will have eWAVE doing what they love to do, which is pull out that Monty, and that's going to be Dipsy back onto Monty with the shield. And we'll even have Curry on the Twitch, which will be really helpful as we have Mortis as Bandit, Ghost as Wamai, and even just as Legion. That's gonna be a lot of utility that Curry can pick off to give a lot more room for eWAVE to move around without much resistance. And we're going to see that initial entry from the window. That's going to be, I believe, Rizraz, but there is one over by Bedroom. That's just, but he's not going to get spotted and will creep up. This could be disastrous if they hop in, as Bedroom was not cleared at all. Just is in a perfect position here to take this fight. But if they know, they don't know, and Just will be able to get Rizraz out early on. That miss drone being so unfortunate, and Ventix will take heavy damage as well, but still up with their set of nades. 2 minutes left, and we're already seeing eWAVE at a round, or I'm sorry, a person disadvantage. The drone coming in the spot where they are on site, and maybe even get rid of some on site utility. But the only thing they really got to worry about as far as walking in is Mortis with those bandit boxes, but it doesn't look like that's gotten taken out quite yet. The nade's coming in from Dex to catch someone, but it will not go through. The red ping coming out to spot Lulu, I believe, but considering he is on a hard service, he's not going to get naded out, and Ghost will be walking down as well to try to contest that vert, but with the repel on the window, that's going to make it a bit tough for that to happen. Dipsy's still outside with the Monty shield. The ping goes through, but we will not see any picks, as that is Ventic's last nade as well as Dex's, and they still have to move up, as there's really no one from eWAVE onto second floor at the moment, except for over by Drum Balk side, but they do have wall open, as I believe, is that a rotate? Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually MS who's over by there, as eWAVE tries to push up, and we'll see 2 picks from Curry and Dex as they make that initial entry and move their way up from Black Stairs. But with Lulu holding close for the shotgun, that aggression could be disastrous, as Dex will get eliminated from that, but there's still one more from backstairs, and Lulu will take heavy damage, not turn around, and Ventix will be able to get Lulu, but will get promptly downed by, I believe that's Sanity, and now Curry trying to get something out, but with 30 seconds left, he does have the time. He has to get the res or something, as he is the only one alive at the moment. The cross is coming out from MS, and there comes the res, but with no nades, they're not going to be able to push this out, and all the smokes has been used as well. Now, this is just pure gunfighting. Mortis pushing up over by T-Room, holding that close corner. Curry gonna be able to walk in, and Sanity will take Ventix all up to her now to get a plant going, but she does not have the fuser, and with Mortis holding Karaoke, will be able to finish her off, and that will be yet another round as for MS. eWAVE eSports just not being able to pick up any rounds on second floor up to this point. If this keeps going and they win first floor, I got a feeling that we're going to be taking this to game 3.
Yeah, I mean, MS looking a lot stronger on their defensive half than they did on attack, and eWAVE unable to do anything against it. But they still have a chance. They still have a chance to pull something off. Still are in range of maybe getting 2 more rounds, maybe 3 even, to get themselves into guaranteed overtime, maybe. But for that, they'll need to win this one, and if they don't, and then MS will move on to match point and guarantee themselves that if you ever gonna put up a fight, they'll need to go into overtime and win in overtime, which is quite a tall ask at this point. I mean, it's gonna depend on who's gonna start attacking defense, but still, 2 more rounds for MS, and they'll win this map 7-3. It's gonna be very good for them if they want to move on to the third map, which will be Chalet, and it's gonna be needed to see what these teams will bring to get this attack going. eWAVE, just hoping for a successful attack.
So a little bit of insight from good old Piercing here, but here's the situation right now for where eWAVE is kind of messing up. We've seen a lot of miss drones here. We've seen a miss drone from the initial entry from I believe that was Rizraz getting picked off right out the gate. They had no idea where Mortis was over by T Room and getting picked. It just seems like there's a lot of intel gaps, and even the nades just not being able to connect as they're going off of outdated information when MS is moving around, and they're just able to weave in and out of these nades. If eWAVE can really just lock down their utility, then they will be in a much better situation. But they haven't really been able to, and this has given MS multiple openings to take advantage and pick people off. If they can do a better job in dealing with those lurkers, then eWAVE can start picking up rounds. But right now, they're just losing too many people to those who are on that lurk that they aren't really aware of, opting to take a lot of direct gunfights. But it's hard to take a direct gunfight on someone you don't know is right around the corner. And we're going to have a heavy vert presence from MS with 4 people above at the moment. The breach fully open from second floor with Sanity throwing his second canister out to deny that walk in through the window, but Curry is already into delivery, gets eliminated by Dex. There's that unknown factor I talk about yet again, causing trouble. But despite that, the MS will lose Sanity actually, as eWAVE will be able to catch him. I'm sorry, I thought that was Curry with the way that the camera panned out there. A little weird there, but it seems like eWAVE is able to spot Sanity from above, take him out, and Rizraz will get Ghost out of the way as well. Although, granted, eWAVE does not have that vert control, which could be a problem, as Rizraz will take one, but Mortis gets that refrag. There's still Mortis holding above, but despite that, Dipsy is going to try to get that plant down, pushing them off just enough to give that opening to walk in and plant, and Mortis desperately looking for that diffuse planter, but is not going to be able to spot him in time before the plant goes down. Now the diffuser's out, a 1v3. They know that Mortis is up enough. They didn't get full vert control, but eWAVE got just what they needed to push off Mortis just enough to be able to secure that plant, and now Mortis has to make his way down from backstairs where there is a crossfire and take multiple gunfights. We'll be able to get the first one onto Vectix, but he still has to get onto the site, which he will. Watching for the breach, tries to go for a defuse, but will eventually get off, almost picking Dex, taking that gunfight, but Dex will be able to catch Mortis with one following short, closely behind off of the breach from outside for eWAVE to pick their first round in a good minute. MS still just inches away from match point, but eWAVE now getting that chance to creep up. It seems like there's a gap here where whenever they're starting off on attack, it takes them multiple rounds to kind of figure out, okay, what do we need to do to start getting in and getting these plant downs? And once they learn to stop fully committing one way or the another and start kind of going split, that's when they start to realize, like, wait a minute, we don't have to fully control this, just as long as we get that component out of our way to where we don't really have to worry about it, or at least not enough to where they can just have a cross that's impossible to deal with from a linear standpoint. And we saw MS figure that out, pick up some attack rounds, and it looks like eWAVE might have done the same. But the difference was that for MS, it was a little bit late going for an even split. And now with how eWAVE has seemingly figured it out, MS is still 1 point behind match point. So if eWAVE is able to take every round going forward, they still have the opportunity to win this out, but they have to get their attack locked down. Otherwise, they will be bringing it to map 3, which is very contestable considering it's an extremely popular map. We will see MS go for that similar setup with Clash and that Terrace rotate popped open to just run around on the balk, but I don't think eWAVE is going to fall for that like they did before, or maybe they will, as they're going for the same push as last time, opting for Samurai side, where they know that there's going to be a clash over there. But perhaps they're going for more of a first floor push, as if we aren't seeing too much repelling onto the second floor balk at the moment. Deck's going to be able to spot that Wamai to take that out, and that could put Clash in a vulnerable position to get naded out. Looks like they are going to be falling over into first floor, rotating all the way to west side on that balk. Now starting to get that horizontal component in there for MS, where there is one deep into Drum, and we have the Clash gonna take serious damage from a massive dump of utility, but Lulu still able to just tank every one of those hits and stay alive, but and still gonna continue to hold that run out. But with all that utility sunken in, Dex is now out of utility, the concussion and the explosive mines all used up. And now Ghost holding by Shrine. Sanity gonna be able to pick up Dex. The Nitro going through, gonna do some good damage onto Dipsy as MS holds a strong cross, preventing eWAVE from continuing their horizontal. Mortar's gonna get spotted by the Yanaclum, but they are sitting comfortably at the moment as eWAVE has a lot that they have to push through if they want to get horizontal, as it is causing them a lot of trouble. But Venti will be able to catch just from the holes over in that wall, but we will see another loss, and that is going to be Curry and Venti now down and taken out by Mortars, who will now since fall back. And we still have Ghost over by Shrine as well, with Rizraz alone trying to get some kind of control. Sanity going to be able to take up Dipsy. Now Ghost versus Rizraz, as Rizraz is all that's left and taking a round without going to match point, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen, as he will rotate down, but we still have one over by House Stairs. A run out coming in as well, but that's just going to be Lulu looking for where Rizraz is. And with 33 seconds left, he's playing this passive to try and maybe even out these numbers a little bit. With the Clash coming in, that's going to be a dead giveaway for where Rizraz is. And with 20 seconds left, it's hard to deal with that Clash. And it looks like he's going to be holding back at spawn to give his team a bit more time to figure out what they're going to do next. Because right now, this is match point. If they want to win this out, they really can't do that without going to overtime at this point. So they're not looking too good as far as this map stands out. And here's the thing. MS was able to go on a streak after getting their attack figured out, but despite eWAVE being able to pick up a round on attack the last round, they weren't able to win it this time. So now they're kind of in a ruck right now. They're in a rough spot. So whatever they're gonna have to do to make this work, the room for error is now gone. They're gonna have to get 2 rounds in a row if they even want to win this map, or at least have a chance. Otherwise, if MS just keeps doing what they're doing, which has seemingly worked fine without much exception, then we will be moving on to map 3, Chalet.
Yep, and this does appears to be that MS have a better hold on this map, but just to see that eWAVE, they have an opportunity to get a tackle timeout, and I think this would have been a perfect moment to do so. Match point 6-4, they have like that opening, that opportunity to get that tackle timeout, but I mean, doesn't appear that they want it or need it, or maybe even don't know that they can do it. I don't know what is going through their minds right now, but they gotta get this, at least these 2 more rounds to get into overtime and maybe have a chance to win this map and get this 2-0. But even if they lose, it's not gonna be too much of a loss for them, as there is still a 3rd map to be played. Chalet, maybe they'll be comfortable, a bit more comfortable there. We'll just need to wait and see. But so far, MS does look a lot stronger, at least on Skyscraper.
Mm-hmm. It's very much a different story from what we saw in the first map. But the thing to point out is, despite the differential being smaller, eWAVE is still not out of this, and that really goes to show that even though this isn't really eWave's map, they still know how to put up a good fight, which still leads me to believe that even if this is a closer map, eWave still possibly has got it, depending on how experienced they are with Chalet. Because really, when it comes to those more popular maps, some teams know other maps better than others. It just really depends on your team's dynamic and what they like. And Chalet is a fairly popular map, so I really don't know who's gonna know that map more, but I would assume that that's gonna be a great equalizer as far as map knowledge is concerned, as both teams, I assume, would know that map pretty well. So it should be a much more closer matchup than we've seen with these past two maps, with eWAVE taking out in a striking 7-2 and MS potentially taking out in a bit of a closer 7-4. But we can't say that that's going to be the call yet, as this game is still not over, with eWAVE getting some good damage onto Ghost, who's now down to 50 less than 50 HP, but still alive. And with 1 minute and 10 seconds, eWAVE hasn't really made a push, though Dex does finally get that intel needed to take one from Sanity from below, and we will see that there's really nobody below from MS. That could be a problem if eWAVE starts to make their way up from the stairs, though Mortis can, with his positioning, can definitely help with contesting those stairs. The canisters start to come out, as that's going to be the first one from Lulu, still having 2 remaining, and with just soup cans to help deny it could be a problem. And we will see Dex take Ghost out from a close follow-up with the Yana clone. A huge pick, a bait and switch. The Flores drones coming in, and now with 30 seconds, eWAVE is looking very nice here with a 2-person advantage, with Rizraz all the way up onto hallway with Dipsy. It's going to be hard for MS to stop this, but with the last canister out, eWAVE has a clear entry in, with Mortis under pressure from Geisha. Venti getting down, and Dipsy and Dex falling apart. Now with a 2v3, it is up to Curry and Raz to try to get a plant down. Raz
No
going for it,
way.
but the Nitro along with those other picks will result in MS winning this second map, as we will now go to the decider of Chalet. eWAVE just getting that advantage, having that presence, but falling apart from MS's extension. They just could not handle it. And that will now put us on to map 3. Goodness,
Yep.
my hair looks bad.
Going to Chalet. 7-3 for Maniac Suiciders. These maps have been a bit one-sided here. eWAVE taking Bank 7-2 and Maniac Suiciders taking 7-3 onto eWAVE on Skyscraper. Their pick. Chalet, neither of these teams' picks. I am really not sure what the stats were here on Chalet for both these teams, but let's just need to wait and see how they're going to be played. I'm sure both these teams will put up a fight on there, and it might be a bit closer than we saw Bank and Skyscraper. But 1-1, these maps are being a bit more close here.
And now with being on the decider, this is for all the marbles, as eWAVE did have a smashing start, but they just could not figure out their attack on Skyscraper, as MS was able to pick up too many rounds for eWAVE to be able to handle. And with Chalet, honestly, it could be either way for both teams. I mean, the net round differential for both games right now is only 1, and that's in favor of eWAVE. But considering how both of these have been played kind of off of pocket maps based off of their experience, it's really hard to say how Chalet is gonna go down, because it's a popular map. Both teams are gonna know it. It's it's anyone's game for this matchup, really. And I know a lot of people, the majority are calling for eWAVE, but for those 32% that voted for MS, you might be getting your call in for, or at least getting your respects in with calling an MS victory, because right now, as far as who's got the advantage, it's looking very 50-50. I don't think either team is that much better off than the other, as because both have played very well on their maps. So there's no way to know for sure who's going to come out on top here, unless there's some information about how these teams play Chalet, which I unfortunately don't really have. I'm not EU, obviously. But if that is the case, then maybe there is a reason for that sway. But from my perspective, both teams have a good stake in this next map.
Yep, we'll just have to see what's gonna come up, and we will see that in just after this little break, just about 5 minutes to get everything set up for this next map. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you again on Chalet. welcome back to ESA Cup. We're going to map 3, the decider for this upper bracket. This is the first time in the upper bracket where we have a decider being played. The past few matches were just 2 O's, so that's really good to see that we have Chalet, we have a decider finally being played here. And yeah, it could go any which way. I'm not sure which teams will be more or less prepared on this map. We'll just need to, yeah, just need to see. So, I mean, I don't have anything much to say here. If you have anything to add, we'll just go straight in.
Couldn't agree more. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, let's get into Chalet.
And the thing that I want to kind of talk about with Chalet and the way that this map is it's a very well-rounded map. So it's very dynamic in how the teams will play us out. You can have a very heavy roam presence. You can anchor down because with the sheer amount of hard walls and ways that you can lock it up, especially with tricking denials such as Cade, Bandit, you really have a free choice in how you want to play it. Coordination is important on this map, not because of small size like with border, or because of that ability to lock it down if you have free reign of horizontal or vertical. It's an all-around good map, and you have that choice to play it however you want. So the name of the game is the classic siege scenario, which is defense sets it up however they please, and the attackers just have to figure out what the defender's strategy is and pick that apart with the clock ticking against them and try to get that set up. So it's really as classic siege as you can get, in my opinion. And we will see some standard bans though, with the Flores and Nook and even a mirror ban as well. But the one thing I want to point out about Chalet, and what I truly say is a testament to why I love this map so much, is that first floor is not only a very viable pick, it's often picked more often at the start than second floor basement, which isn't often seen a lot, especially on other maps like Villa or Cafe. So that's another thing that I love about Chalet. You get more first floor play on this map, in my opinion, than any other map in the game. And I think that makes it so fascinating, because first floor, there's so many different ways that you can set it up, and that's what truly makes it such a good map. The rework on this map has been the greatest blessing, in my opinion, when it comes to map changes, because I mean, it went from a map that a lot of people were kind of grudge at and be like, ugh, not this map again, because of how small it is and cluttered and all of that good stuff. But it's now just much more open. You have a lot of play space, both for attack and for defense. So I'm glad that this is the decider map, and we're going to see a really good game. First, I thought MS was going to go basement, but fortunately, they switched up to first floor bar gaming. And we will even see Rizraz on the Capitao as well, which I don't know how unpopular the opinion this is, but he is grossly underrated. Such an outstanding operator when it comes to executes and flushing people out of tight corners. Because remember that Capitao does not get caught by ADSs. That is a key component in making Capitao so powerful. There's not a lot of projectiles that can bypass Jaeger, and we even have mortars on the Jaeger as well, so that Capitao will be getting put into very good use, I think, here for this round, as eWAVE will be making a wave going for that library control. But we will have just quickly push up over to connector. We will even have Mortis holding that corner, or I'm sorry, not Mortis, that is going to be Ghost, and there it is. There's that fire already going out to catch Warden, and if they have one below by the double, Warden's already dead, and he just doesn't know it. But the fire is not going to reach him. It's not far enough, and he will still hold that corner. Everyone on eWAVE is just waiting for Warden to get moved out and drop. But right now, because that Capitao bolt was not properly placed, he's still sitting in that corner. They are going to confirm, though, that he is still there. Another Capitao bolt going out. It's a bit closer, but take a little bit of damage, but he's still sitting there. Seems like they don't really have those bolts, those lineups figured out, as that's going to be the last firebolt, and he's still there. And with a minute and 25 seconds, that is a huge amount of time wasted banking on something that just was unfortunately not done in quite the correct way. And an interesting fact about that corner as well is that what you can do is you can. Oh, hold on. But we got a gunfight coming out with Lulu versus Ventix here, holding that corner over by Connector. Gonna round a dash over, but taking serious damage. And that's gonna be Dex taking out Lulu. I'm sorry, not Ventix. That's gonna be Ace getting taken out. And we will see Ghost downed, but not out, as Jack just will be able to take Curry. Riz getting rid of Ghost. Rapid fire back-to-back fighting, but the breach charge is, or the hard breacher is now down as Dex try to take a solo fight onto the lurker from basement. That's going to be Lulu, who's still low on HP over by Blue, but still up. We'll have Ventix throwing out the Ionic Clone, going to spot that barricade and push up to Mudroom, which is given for free. A reason why a lot of things aren't barricade, but that's going to give away that she's over by Mudroom. Insanity will be able to down Dipsy from the double, and with the Candelas coming in, but it is not going to flash anyone. We'll see smokes as well. Ventix is going to try to take this fight onto Lulu, spot him from the quick peek, take him out, but he's going to get dealt with by the head height holds from Sanity, and we will see just finishing it out from above.
Lightning execute coming out from eWAVE, not successful. Maniac Suiciders being able to counter that, getting their first defender round on the board. And yeah, that solo fight, I found it really weird that just the Ace going in solo into Garage. That was a bit weird to me, that all his team was just pushing Library, and Harbreacher, not a common sight to see. Harbreacher just being all alone, isolated against an Oryx, and losing that gunfight. I think that's the gunfight that lost him the round, just not being able to have that Harbreacher available. I mean, that was a bit rough, but still, it was quite close by eWAVE. Quite a good attempt by them to get a round going, get a win. I mean, we usually see teams go for a bit of an office and piano push. That's the more standard way to approach the side, but go for a Library, and it was nearly successful, but Maniac Suiciders coming out on top of that one.
Yeah, and now with that second floor, I honestly feel like eWAVE, they could go solar side. It's not standard, but with the utility that they have right now, that wouldn't be entirely the most impossible push. Although the first floor presence from Ghost and Sanity could make that difficult, especially with that shield. And it's very easy for Lulu to rotate over, throw some discs to help with that utility dump. However, he's over by Mudroom. Gonna barricade that off once again. Gonna help to deal with any kind of lurking, but it seems that eWAVE is going for a semi-standard push. Gonna try to go for that piano control, maybe Library, or perhaps not as they start to rotate. But we will already see a little bit of early damage coming in from both Sanity and Rizraz. We're about down to 75, but that's not a whole lot in the scheme of things when it comes to the headshot game. Dex holding that angle all the way back with the glass, which you don't see every day. I still consider him an extremely weak operator, though he's played enough to make me bite my tongue. Ventix going to be able to see one from above, but that little peek gonna come in. Insanity will get eliminated from that basement vert hole. That's not something you see every day, but you did see it there. Ghost still by first floor, holding on to that so they can't push solar side. Looks like eWAVE will go for a solar type of take, as we have one on the rappel and one watching from that window, but Ghost still below could cause a lot of problems. Drone's gonna get shot up. Curry still on the rappel, looking to open that double up for Rizraz to hold that angle, as Ventix will rotate out from Garage as well. eWAVE getting rid of Echo, now kind of rotating to try and get that solar control. And we have just even going for a run out from Mudroom, but it will not connect to anyone from the balcony, as there's no one there at the moment. We will see the rappel in from Curry, who's now walking in, as well as the wall breach, pushing up to get Lulu, who's watching the window, now having the master bathroom control. But here comes Oryx, but Dipsy will be able to shut Ghost down as well. Mortis being able to take out the double, but it doesn't matter. Dipsy already going for the plant, and Curry will be able to take just as Mortis tries to get the refrag, but Curry will take both. and that will be yet another round for the attack, another round for eWAVE eSports.
Oh, yep, that's the first attacker round here, equalizing the score in the early stages of this map. eWAVE looking quite strong on their solar push, taking out these players one by one, no refragging taking place by Maniac Suiciders, and ultimately leading to their downfall on upstairs. This time going for a kitchen. That's Maniac Suiciders trying not to attempt second floor again. Side. You know what? Let's go downstairs. Let's try this side. It's close to bar, but still need to have that vertical control set. All
And
this floor is not being blown up by Buck and all the salt breachers on eWave side.
yeah. And I mean, it makes sense why they would go first floor like that. I mean, look at the way and the fashion in which second floor was taken by eWAVE. They just ran straight up solar, repelled in, and that walk in from, I believe that was Ventix, who was Yana at that time, was so deadly, getting all of that control, taking multiple entry picks, and then the denial from Oryx, which they knew there was one from first floor, doing all of that damage, and MS trying to aggress. We even had Ghost trying to go for that mud room run out, but they were just not in the right place and not at the right time. Unfortunately, still very even with 1-1 and so early on. It's really hard to say who is going to be the ones to build momentum here, as it can really go either way, but it seems that eWAVE eSports is going for a primarily library side take, as IQ and Yana start to walk in, with Yana already into library. Sense gonna be pushing in from the heater room, and no one has diffuser at the moment. That's weird, but we will see Sense pick that up. Now, personally, I think Sense is a bit of a weak op, but that's just my opinion. The Valkyrie cam going to get spotted. Curry already trying to push up to mezzanine to start getting that second floor control. Although with Rizraz on Ace, usually you want a Thermite so you can open that wall wide open for the Osa to walk in, and they have neither. So I really don't know what eWave's approach is going to be here. But with them having that first floor control all the way up to site, they are going to be able to get rid of a lot of that utility and even call it out with those pings. That's that buff from Ventix coming out to be major. Or I'm sorry, on the buff onto IQ. It's going to help a lot. And Sense will drop the diffuser once again as he pushes in for what seems to be heater at the moment. But with 1 minute 20 seconds left, they got to start moving or make something happen. Although they do get the breach open. Ventix holding the prone hole, hoping to catch somebody by the head height holes. And we will see a run out from Just, but it's not going to connect. Ghost trying to get aggressive to take Curry, but will get eliminated instead. The head-eye hole pick from Curry as well for the double kill. And now MS is starting to lose that second floor control, though there is still one above. Sanity trying to take some picks here. The drone's going to spot her, getting some damage onto Dex, but right now, the Sense is going to finally go through. The smoke's going to block off as Dipsy walks in, going for that plan, and Rizraz will be able to take another 2 flashes going out, and this execute will go through for eWAVE, and now it is up to Just and Mortis, who is still above, to try to deny this plant. But with eWAVE playing off-site the way that they are, Mortis might not get the impact that they need, but Just will be able to take one pick with 30 seconds left. There's still plenty of time, but Mortis will get taken, and Curry, holding by the corner, will be able to finish out the other, and that will be the second round for eWAVE eSports.
Yeah, eWave looking a lot more dominant there than we saw on bar. Really, really good at taking control of the map. Know what they need to do and nothing more. They didn't need to go into office and take control of the whole of the upstairs. They just needed the above the dining. That's it. Going for the plant. Sense being actually useful, surprisingly enough, with his wall being really, really useful to cover off that entire, just the entire side of the map was just covered off by that one wall. Really well done. And now for Ghost going on a Warden too. Maybe contest some no, never mind. The Warden was already present here as they go bar. But yeah, if they had a warden there, that would have been a lot different story there for Maniac Suiciders. But they didn't. Sense working out really well for them. And second round, round number 4, going eWAVE's way. But now they gotta attack bar that they did not have a lot of a lot of success with. But going for, I think, very similar attacker lineup. Guessing going for very similar push onto library with that Capital, like you said, being very underrated.
But here's the problem though. Now with Wamai as just throwing some disc over to library, that's gonna make Capital not that, or is gonna kind of help deny that. As keep in mind that the Capital, while not getting caught by Jaegers, it does in fact get caught by Wamai. So if he's got enough disc over there, Dex is not gonna be able to stop him from the corner. Still holding there, but now playing from the window rather than the double, and that will help to reach Ghost here as he still holds that corner, gets spotted by the drone. And keep in mind, there's also Jaeger by the Mez, and here comes that firebolt, but it's not deep enough again. But we will see Ventix off screen catch Lulu off, and that will be an early pick for them. They're still trying to get rid of that Ghost with those Capital Bolts, but they just cannot get the angle right. But Warden is pushing out from the corner, and he will be able to take Dipsy despite the Capital finally going through as Dipsy loses that gunfight. Mort is getting eliminated by the Yana, pushing out to take a double, and this one over by Blue, still not done, gets another triple and a 4 kill to take that round in a rapid fashion for eWAVE, going absolutely ballistic, taking one even off the deployable shield peak.
What was that? Coming out from Curry, absolutely massive on Yana, just getting into that double window, it's mezzanine, and just dominating every single one who dares speak him. That was beautifully done by him, beautifully calculated on that timing as well.
Yeah, the time push was perfect there. And I gotta say, there were so many people over there by Library Connector and Bluehole, and they just all swung one by one. Curry had no space there, only using the metal bookshelf as cover, but despite that, was still able to hold that tight angle just enough to be able to force the gunfights needed to win that out. Every single one of those gunfights, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that the ace was taken from her first floor, I think we could have definitely seen an ace there. But either way, Curry on an absolute tear to win out that round. And I think that is going to be the mark of momentum for eWAVE. I would have called a timeout at that point, because how can you let someone take so many ones against you in such close quarters? That's a little demoralizing if I were to speak in terms of team mental. So I would probably call a timeout there. That was ridiculous. Just absolutely insane. And despite that, we will see MS still play what I believe to be the same site, and we'll still have Ghost holding that corner. I don't think eWAVE is going to lose this gunfight next time. They know he's going to be there, and Capital's already repelling in. I mean, oh my gosh. Talk about a solo push going right. However, we will see that Ghost is trying to get active as he knows he's going to get pinched here. Try to take another one, but I can't say whether or not that will work out for him. It's really hard to say. I'm not really sure, but though he was able to force that gunfight, I don't think he's going to get that lucky this time. Though Dipsy did hold below. He's banking on the drop, and Ghost is going to be taking damage. Going to drop the hatch where Dipsy's going to be ready with that window open, but he will be able to get out after sustaining heavy damage to move up to the top blue shield, and that's going to be Library dealt with, except for Mortis, who is still by the balk, and Wamai holding above, but Lulu will be able to get Rizraz out, and that's going to be Twitch gone. Venix next after Mortis taking it out from Library from that hop in, and now Ghost is back over to Library entrance, and eWAVE looks like that momentum was just a one-time thing, as they are now down 2 players and that's going to be Twitch and Sledge. The set of nades gone, the Twitch out to get rid of some of that utility that will Mize or those Jaegers. A utility dump is going to be an issue. Although, Ying does have her 4 Candelas and 2 smokes, so it's not that they can't get rid of that utility. They're just going to have to play this a lot closer in
Oh
order to make that
no.
happen. And we will see a Claymore kill from Sanity. No! Trying to go for that aggression, but it's going to backfire. Oryx holding prone by the main stairs, and we have Ghost playing over by blue stairs, but Yana knows, gonna try to throw that nade, but it's not going to bank off the catch. Still holding there with no hesitation. And we'll even see Dipsy throw a smoke and Katela in. Dex gonna be able to take a pick, and Dipsy's gonna try to force a plant in here, and we will see just down from above. Curry gonna eliminate Ghost, and now it's all up to Lulu taking heavy damage. Dex will confirm that kill for a triple kill. The Candle is coming out, and Dipsy will take that from Connector as well. eWAVE eSports turning that around in a quick executed fashion.
Oh, that round, I really thought it was the round of Maniac Suiciders that they'll be able to take, but the execute coming out from eWAVE, going absolutely massive there, and taking that round for themselves, and Maniac Suiciders still going for bar gaming, though they had a little thing going for downstairs, but still, gonna try to go for, change it up to master bedroom. Okay, deciding not to go for bar gaming. Deciding, hey, maybe third time is not the charm. Maybe we just go for a side that we maybe didn't win, but we know what we need to improve on. Going for master bedroom, and I don't expect UF to go for solar push again. Maybe switch it up a bit, because Maniac Suiciders will be expecting a solar push, I think. So, cashing them off like surprise, going completely different direction. I think that's the play for eWAVE eSports. But I don't know. It might go either way here on this upstairs. But still, 1-4, last round of the half, and then we will see eWAVE eSports going to defense. And yeah, Maniac Suiciders really need to get this round win, or else they're gonna be looking quite dire coming into their attack.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And here's the problem. eWAVE crushed it over in Solar side, and it looks like they're going for that same push again. And MS is still going for almost that exact same setup that they had before with the Echo on that shield, which is kind of a pocket play. And they're going to know how to fold that. So if you think it was fast before when they took Solar the first time, eWAVE, now it's going to be even faster because they know exactly where Echo's going to be, already getting those holes pre-placed by Ventix to deal with the Echo when he inevitably runs it down. We will have one over by Trophy. That will be the Echo with that shield. And that's already getting taken out by the Gon 6. Actually going to miss, apparently. Don't know what happened there, but that is still up. The flash going out. Sanity getting full flash with 3 flashes. Can't see a gosh darn thing. And there's a nade doing heavy damage, but he is still alive. Gonna try to maybe peek that hold below. Another nade, though, and Curry will take that. You gotta remember, they've got 2 nades, not 1. And we will see Ventix take some damage from Just as he tries to contest the Solar. But another flash comes out. The utility dump on Solar just being so surreal for MS, but we will see Just get a nice headshot onto Dipsy, and that's going to be a Hibana, and now that wall is not getting open. That's already a major change in favor of MS here to try to bring it to 4. But with the numbers even, eWAVE is not out of this by any means. With 1 minute and 20 seconds, they're starting to run the time down, but still have some time to make something happen. However, Ghost will be able to take out Curry from that Solar Stairs. Another flash coming out. That's going to be the last one from Ventix as they start to make their move onto Solar. But we will see Rizraz over by the trophy room, the west, or not west main, the trophy stairs, and Lulu will be able to get Ventix. Rizraz taking some damage. Dex gonna take that initiative and walk in, try to get that site control, and a zombie is not even ready, just getting eliminated by Dex. Now onto site, but we'll see one push out from the deployable shield. I don't think Mortis even knows as Dex takes some as he is not paying attention. And now with Dex having that full control, but not having diffuser, it's all up to Dex to make something happen here, but we will see Lulu take Rizraz, and now it is up to Dex to finish this off. But here's the problem. The diffuser is in basement, and we have Lulu there just possibly waiting, but it seems that he is going to fall off back onto site, sprinting in now back onto A, and with time running low, Dex is going to have to do the same with 5 seconds left on the clock. If he's going to plant, this is going to be forced, and it's going to put him in a bad spot. It looks like he's going to be forcing that fight. Instead, tries to swing, but he is in the corner, and he will not be able to get that pick, knowing that the time was running low. Unfortunate to lose the diffuser in basement. That was just not good for them, and that will be MS's 4-2 split as they were looking for, but they still got some ways to go as they're now on the attack. I don't recall Chalet being necessarily a defender's side, or I'm sorry, an attacker's sided map, but with how balanced it is, I guess balanced is pretty much attacker sided, as it's always gonna be by default harder to defend than it is to attack. And now we see eWAVE eSports moving on to first floor, kitchen, and dining with a bit of that physical stall that we've seen before with the smoke for Rizraz and Dex on the Malusi trying to deny that walk-in. But remember, that breach walk-in is the deadliest part. They get that fireplace wall open. Doesn't matter what composition you bring, it's going to be an uphill battle. So if they can maintain Mez, that will make this composition just that more deadly. It really comes down to how eWAVE positions himself for that breach, because that is the main way that they take this site. And there is no denial either. Keep that in mind. No bandit, no Cade, not even a mute. So if they want that wall, they're going to get it. So eWAVE has to play this aggressively and shut down MS's tempo wherever it may come from. Otherwise, they're going to get that breach and be able to walk in. Though, granted, MS does not have an OSA. They do have Sanity on the Thermite, which is exactly what you want on that first floor. Open that wall wide open.
Yep, actually, Chile, from what I see on my statistics here, from group stage, it's been played a lot, and it is slightly attacker sided, just 52% attack wins, and actually 51.6% attack wins, and 48.4% defense wins. So yeah, slightly attacker sided, but still a 2-4 split. Would have won the 3-3, but still, that's gonna be need to be adjusted here for MS as they're already approaching towards this the map, towards the house, and now need to contest against the alibi of Ventix playing in master bedroom. Yeah, he has a lot of support from his teammates here, but contesting that main window could be a bit tricky here. Surrounding the entire office side, not wanting to have anyone playing there. They don't really need to, as Dipsy makes some vert holes actually with his Alda onto the door. Might catch some unattentive player out if they decide to walk in there. But thermite charge is going to be wasted on this wall from office into master. But Ventix still playing in master, just laying prone. Do they know that he's here?
If they do, he's going to be in a lot of trouble with that double repel and that office presence. He has no way to get out. He's basically sold his soul to this corner. He's going to have to play this for life. Granted, keep in mind that MS has not really made any push, but he will be able to take Mortis out. But we will see Ventix get taken out as he goes for that peak, trying to build off that momentum. And we will see Barry get down, or I'm sorry, Curry get down as well. But with 50 seconds left, the damage has been done to push him from sledge. He's not watching, doesn't know he's there. And now they still have that vert control and none of the horizontal setup with 40 seconds left. We still have people from MS still outside. Curry, though, is down. He could be res here, but it doesn't look like anyone from MS is in the position to res him. So effectively, he's going to be down for the rest of this round. And with 30 seconds left, MS is going to have to make a move. They have to get in somehow. Lulu confirming that kill onto Curry finally. But with 20 seconds left, they got to force a way in. And they don't have that breach either, which they needed to get Lulu taking a bit of damage, and Ghost is looking to walk in, and he
Oh,
does, and he's going to be
no.
able to catch Rizraz, not looking at him. Dex hits Lulu, and we will see the finish out for the Defenders as a 2-pick comes out for eWAVE, denying that walk-up, doing a 180 flip. I wouldn't expect that on console, but hey, these guys really know their controllers, and I give them props to that. Shoot, I would have whiffed that on PC, I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, that was quite impressive. I saw the master camera just flash up, and I thought someone would give info that Zofia is pushing from that side, but clearly unaware of that, eWAVE might have been caught out by that. And if for Ghost would have gotten that master kill, he might have been able to line up the second one through the wall, and that would have been absolutely amazing if he would have done that. But not happening this time. eWAVE is able to get Kitchen, and now a 2-5 on the board for eWAVE eSports. They're gonna need at least, 2 more rounds to win this map and win this series and advance more and to further into the upper bracket. And Maniac Suiciders are gonna need to pull something out of the bag here. Usually enough, it was their pick to go against eWAVE here. Of course, they finished, I think, second in the group, so they were able to pick who they're gonna be playing against. They had, they're picking third, so they had, I think, either Molotov, Gang UK, or eWAVE. They decided to pick eWAVE, and not looking too great for them. Their pick of opponents proving to be quite a bit stronger than they have anticipated. But still not over for them. They can still pull something off here if they win a lot of rounds in a row, which is gonna be quite hard. They're gonna need to do something flawless here and capitalize on mistakes that eWAVE might make. But so far, eWAVE are looking really, really strong.
Yeah, and they're already trying to play aggressive against that walk-in. And something I want to point out, which is interesting, eWAVE actually has a heater extension, kind of like elbow on Organ, which I don't see that very often, but that is definitely going to be interesting if they try to go for that wine push, which it doesn't look like MS is going for. I don't see that very often, but I do love to see it regardless whenever they do it, because I've always thought that was a viable trick, but no one ever wants to work with me on that. But that's just how it is in ranked, isn't it? But I mean, I hope we get to see some action over there, because it's definitely an interesting angle. That heater gives a lot of cover for him, and Lulu gonna peek, almost getting picked by Ventix, but none of the shots are gonna connect for Ventix, although he will take some hits. Now rotating out over to West Main, watching out for Solar, but there is no one there, and MS now trying to get that vert control. Riz will be able to take out just from the Nitro over in Fireplace. They do have the intel on that. With 1 minute and 15 seconds, the drone's starting to come in onto site, but they still have to deal with roamers over in first floor, and that's going to be Alibi holding by Trophy, and there it is. Ventix going to be able to get Lulu on that dining room roam, and that's going to throw MS for a whirl, but they will be able to deal with it as Sanity gets the headshot there. Rizraz going to get a double kill, taking out Ghost, and now with 50 seconds left, MS has to try to get something of an execute going here, but they don't have a lot of utility to play with here other than Sanity with the smokes, and eWAVE is playing very passively over here, but Sanity will walk up. They know that he's holding that corner. That could spell trouble for him with the crosses. Here comes the swing from the connector. Rizraz taking some damage on a nice flick from Sanity, but it's not going to be a headshot. Looking to swing again to finish it off, and he does with the SMG-11. And since he's all alone, except for Mortis dropping a hatch a little too late, it's now up to him, but it doesn't seem like they know going to be able to catch one, catch two for a double kill. And now he is onto site, but he does not have the fuser, which is by the shelf, which is where Rizraz is holding. Mortis taking some heavy damage here. Gonna have to force this fight onto Blue with 10 seconds remaining. Sprints in, but is gonna peek too close to the door where he will finish him off over by Blue Hall. And that will be yet another round for eWAVE eSports, as we are now brought down to match point.
Yep, match point for eWAVE, and if Maniac Suiciders want even a chance at going further in the upper bracket, they are gonna need to win these 4 remaining rounds, or else that's it. That's gonna be the end for them, and they're gonna go into the lower bracket. If they do, they're gonna need to be playing against Odessa eSport. But still, if they win 4 rounds in a row, they'll have a chance in overtime to win this map. But so far, eWAVE are just looking unstoppable on Chalet. This does not look good for Maniac Suiciders.
I agree. They're in a lot of trouble here. And just keep in mind the way that eWAVE has been playing here. They have done such a good job of denying those executes, and that's really putting MS on the spot. And even their roam. The problem is MS is not really clearing out these roamers. They'll get in, they'll start to get vert, but they'll do it too early to where eWAVE has somebody that's not accounted for, and that's where the frag outs come in. Is that one person unaccounted for in a position that leaves MS extremely vulnerable, and it does them in. That's been the problem that's allowed eWAVE to pick up multiple rounds on defense and put themselves in where they are. It's really, eWAVE is sitting very comfortably here. As long as they don't let MS set momentum, they'll be fine. But here's the problem. Even if, right, even if MS was able to get momentum, what does both teams have? That's right, a timeout. And we have known very thoroughly through the stats that when you get a timeout, you have an 80% chance of winning after calling a timeout. So even with that momentum, they're gonna have to burn that through a timeout, which is gonna be very tough. So MS is in a lot of trouble here, but if they play this aggressively enough and just shut down eWAVE and try to break that mental, because right now it's gonna be steadfast, and especially with them holding the way that they have been, it's gonna be an uphill battle from here on out. But we've seen MS be able to play it out, so it's not quite over yet. Ventic's getting a little bit of damage onto Lulu, gonna barricade it back out, but here comes a nade from above, and it is gonna do some major damage onto Dex, but he's gonna fall back just in time, and Curry will actually eliminate Lulu, in turn holding in a vulnerable position as he holds over by blue stairs and swings with the call on the nade. Now with 1 minute 40 seconds left, set of nades now gone, and he's gonna be droning right in front of that head hide hole and get picked because of it.
God.
And Curry will be able to take another from the balk as well. Dipsy getting sanity as well, getting his own taste for some picks, and now it's down to him, but it will not matter as the double swing over from the hole is going to secure that win in a rapid succession fashion for eWAVE. 7-2 as they now continue on in the upper bracket, and MS gets moved to the lower bracket. GG's for both teams. Bringing it to a decider. We have not seen that in these upper brackets, but now we have, and eWAVE was still able to come on top despite the skyscraper setback, and a major one too, losing 7-3. But then again, they had the same blowout victory on on Bank, going 2-7. Or I'm sorry, 7-2, and they will take the exact same round differential over in Chalet. I mean, they've got a pretty good round diff here when it comes to point standing, so at least they got that going for them if there's some kind of tie situation. But this is elimination, so it just makes them look nicer on the stat board. That's gonna really put them up there.
Yep, but that last map of Chalet, that was, I think, a banger map coming out from both these teams. A lot of good plays.
Absolutely.
And yeah, like the bank and skyscraper, we saw a bit of exchanging and not really any hero plays coming out from any of these teams. But Chalet showed a lot from both of them, a lot of solo plays coming out that were, I mean, they're really impressive. Some of them working out better than others, and eWAVE still taking it to a 2-1 victory for themselves, advancing into the upper bracket. And next, they're going to be playing against Villains. That's going to be an interesting match, but I think that's going to be it for tonight.
Yep, that'll be it for all of us. Thank you everyone for watching. And yeah, congratulations to eWAVE for moving on in the upper bracket. And I assume we'll see MS again in the lower bracket, so they're not out yet. Stay tuned for that, and we'll have the schedule for the matchups soon enough, so stay tuned for that. Thank you everyone for watching. My name is Piercing R6, and How do you say your name? I'm
Hot
sorry.
Nicks. Hot
Hot
Nicks.
Nicks.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me. It's been a great production. I've enjoyed this matchup, and I'll see you guys again next Sunday.
Yep.
Take
Goodbye.
care.